Hey guys, Q here for TheButtonSmashers.com, and this is our review for SNK Heroines Tag Team Frenzy.
Hey! 引きこもり野郎顔を見せなおい、寝てる場合じゃないぜもしかして、テリーさんなの？何その姿後で写真撮らせてわっおっぱ胸がなんだこれは
Playing SNK Heroines Tag Team Frenzy has brought up so many issues for me. A reason that has resulted in sleepless nights, loss of appetite, and stress. Complete stress. It's an issue so important that I felt it necessary to address it at the beginning of this review, and that issue is, who's the best waifu? Oh, I know. Really important issue. We gotta get this out of the way immediately. Oh, just thinking about it gives me agony. Agony because the waifu choices are so good. This wouldn't be such a problem if I wasn't a man of strict adherence to the rules. And as the rules state, there must only be one waifu per medium, and all of the waifu candidates of said medium shall be proclaimed as inferior to her. The Good Book, Chapter 3, Verse 9. In keeping with these rules, I've chosen the best girl, Mian. And I know some of you are wondering why Mian. Well, as you know, the best waifus are all tsundere. And if you've read her character description on the game's website, you'll find out that she is, in fact, the most tsundere character in the game. And as such, she's best girl. So without further ado, let's jump into what the game is about. The game has 13 other playable characters other than, of course, best girl, and a non-playable boss character. Each of the 14 female characters has her own unique look and style that fits perfectly with the type of game that this is. The developer took numerous SNK characters and loosely reimagined them for this game. There are no in-game ways to learn much about the girls, though you can find character descriptions of each of them on the game's website. This roster may seem small when compared to other fighters, but it makes for a solid amount of characters, and each has multiple ways of being customized. Each character has 3 possible outfits and each act as a base skin. They can then be further customized via the use of even more customization items and color swaps. Oh, and guess what? None of this is DLC! All are unlockable by earning in-game currency from playing the game. Currency which you receive in reasonable quantities throughout your experience with the game. For those of you who watched my Blaze Blue Cross Tag battle review, remember how I hammed on that game because of its DLC practices? They went the way of the on this DLC bollocks that we've seen in titles like Street Fighter in the past. Even worse, these on this DLC characters are present during the story sections, and when I say present, I mean full models, movesets, and everything. Oh, and I hear you defenders of filth, but Q, those... Well, this is a fine example of how to do DLC right. This game does have DLC. It has an announced DLC character and it's pre-release, but it's not a bloody color swap or a character that is already in the game. The DLC character is an additional character from an obscure Square Enix mobile game. She's the definition of DLC. She's not necessary for the title, not a character from either developer or publisher, so you know they're paying to license her, and she's cute too. Waifu. Characters aside, let's talk about the main plot. It's a pretty shallow one with only 7 stages, which include the boss battle. This is a forgettable plot that serves no real purpose other than a means to get more credit to purchase new outfits. The plot is the same no matter which combination of characters you use, only different from the intro and closing cutscenes slightly. Playing with certain character combinations will get you special end card pictures for the gallery, but nothing more. The game is a multiplayer title more than anything else, with its single player additions like the campaign and survival padding out the experience. It's almost like they had a checkbox to tick and that was about it. I would have liked more unique storylines per character with different bosses, and maybe a bit more single player content, but it should also be noted that I'm not this game's target audience. This game is primarily for the competitive scene, for the evil players. The game is also played using 2 characters at a time while being able to swap between them on the fly via the use of the RZ button or L2 trigger depending on if you're using the Nintendo Switch or the PlayStation 4. The rest of the controls are quite simple with a light and heavy attack, a dedicated block button, and special buttons. As previously mentioned, it's quite simple, yet no two characters seem the same. Though they may all use most of the same button inputs, they all play a bit differently enough to seem unique. Shomi, for example, is a grapple type character who mixes up quick strikes with grabs for devastating effect. Her moveset allows for her to dominate most battles, as a lot of her moves can be executed as counters to most of what her opponents have to offer. Mui Mui, on the other hand, is a very direct character. Her relentless attacks can keep almost any opponent in a corner if she's used properly. The game does have combos, but it doesn't play like a traditional fighter at all. It's more akin to the likes of Smash Bros or Brawl Out, with individual simplistic moves which rely on how they're chained together for their complexity. It's also got that Smash style unpredictability thanks to random items floating around in orbs during the matches. Items can be used via the use of the second joystick and can affect both players depending on the item that is used. Tilting the joystick in different directions will dictate where the effect of the summon item will appear. This feature can also be switched off for those who want a more pure brawling experience. The final way in which this game is very similar to Smash Bros and not other fighters is that you cannot defeat your enemy by lowering their health bar, but instead you can only defeat them by using a special move when their health bar is low. The game lacks a lot of modes, having only online quick matches, dedicated rooms, story, versus, survival, training, tutorial, and local matches. Local multiplayer is possible with a single switch and just two Joy-Cons, however you lose the ability to use items due to the lack of input options. This unapologetic fanservice heavy title runs wonderfully on the Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 4. Back in February I had the opportunity to sit down and play the game with the developers on the PlayStation 4, and it ran beautifully at 60 frames per second. But at the time they didn't have a Nintendo Switch version ready, so I assumed that there may have been issues with that version of the game. Well, I worried for nothing, as the game runs perfectly at 60 frames per second in both docked and handheld mode on the platform. It also manages to keep the gorgeous visuals while maintaining this frame rate. In some situations, if you look closely enough, you will notice jagged edges, but in the middle of the match, you won't have time to do that. The only shortcomings I can think of are the lack of visual variety and flair in the backgrounds, along with some underwhelming finishing move effects. Call me hard to please, but games like Injustice spoiled me with regards to finishes. The musical score for this game is brilliant. Simply put, it's a nice mix of Japanese pop and epic beats. This is definitely one you're going to want to get the OST for. Just take a listen to this. The menu music is all customizable, and so are the character voices. Each character has about 4 different voice packs, again all unlockable using in-game currency. These voice packs range from standard Japanese to English. There are no actual English voice packs or dialogue in the game whatsoever.
Ready, go!
So with all that I've had to say so far about this game, here's my final verdict. Bravo! Bravo! Finally! We have a fighting game developer who doesn't want to milk its customers for every dime they've got. A fighting game that is actually a full package, no matter how lackluster some of it may be. A fighting game worth its asking price and DLC worth considering. NS America and SNK have made a package that I can easily recommend, and I've not even factored in the great gameplay and adorable cast of characters into the equation. SNK Heroines Tag Team Frenzy may be a tad bit repetitive in the single player aspects and be lacking in most modes, but I'd still rate it much higher than most of the other fighting games currently on the market today. Thank you very much for watching our review of SNK Heroines Tag Team Frenzy. If you enjoyed this review, make sure to leave us a like and a comment in the comment section below to let us know what you think about this game and any other fighting game for that matter of fact. And if you'd like to see more content like this from us, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon so you'll always know when we put out new content.